Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Cut Line, presented by the Hoosier Network. I'm Graham Nash, of course, joined by Andrew Hillsman. Andrew, we were supposed to record this on Monday, then Tuesday. Yep. It is now Wednesday. We were supposed to have a guest, and we couldn't make it work either. This episode, to say the least, it's been an interesting one already, but we're here and we're ready to do it.
Well, that is the aspect of you and I being in summer baseball now. You're out at the Cape. You finally got your Wi-Fi situation figured out.
Yeah.
And that was a hassle, wasn't it?
Yeah, Xfinity had me around the neck, dude. It was not a good situation, but we're ready to go.
Got it figured out.
Got it figured out.
What's the solution look like over there?
For Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Dude, okay, it's actually funny. It was the weirdest thing. I was on like chat support with an Xfinity robot.
Probably the AI bot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it said I'd been trying everything that I could. And it said, just unplug it and plug it back in. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So I told it that I did. Yeah. I did not, keep in mind, I did not do that. And all of a sudden it started working. And I was like,
huh?
What's going on?
That's a little fishy. I don't know about that one.
I was so confused.
That's a little fishy.
Yeah. But it works now. We're here. So if whatever they had to do through the networks, I'm fine with it. I will also add in that no glasses for me today, in case anyone was wondering, because there's this light. Yeah. There's a glare. I guess if I just went like this the entire time.
Yeah, but then you don't want to do that. You're like looking down here. Hello, exactly. hello. Yeah, no. You don't want to be doing that.
We're rocking the no glasses. And we're going to jump right in, talk about the RBC Canadian Open. This entire episode is going to be a U.S. Open preview. That is the major that is starting tomorrow as we are recording. And tomorrow as we're posting. I'm going to post it right after we record this. So we're going to start on the PGA Tour side. It was a fun one, dude. It was a good tournament.
We keep getting these thrillers in these tournaments that I think not a lot of people are watching, but for those who are watching, we're being treated to great golf. Week in, week out. 2025 has delivered for golf fans, whether you're a big name guy fan, if you're a Scotty or fan, obviously Rory fans are happy, maybe a little bit less happy right now considering he missed the cut by 12 shots. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Little concerned about him heading into the U.S. Open, especially at a tough course like Oakmont and the struggles that he's been having off the tee. It's a little concerning, just different from what we saw at the start of the year. But we'll talk about that in depth a little bit more later. But if you're a fan of the smaller name guys, you're having a fun time in 2025.
You really are. It was yet another playoff in 2025. This time Ryan Fox and Sam Burns, which I feel like we haven't said that name a lot. Sam Burns kind of arose as a potential big winner. And he just hasn't won. He hasn't really, in my mind at least, he hasn't been in contention. I don't know. You could have a different view.
I feel like we've seen him, in tournaments on that leaderboard. He's shown up on TV, which is something that you can't say for some guys. But I love looking at the PGA Tour profile. I got to have all of these guys bookmarked at some point. But you look at his results. He's won 5 times, and this year you look at top 10s, 3 top 10s, 1 runner-up, and now a win. This year, he's made 13 cuts, so he's been one of the better players on tour.
Yeah, he is, and he put in a good effort. It was 4 total playoff holes between Ryan Fox and Sam Burns. The 4th playoff hole is a par 5, and Ryan Fox just hit a beautiful 3-wood that he called the best shot in his life. I think there was water short, so if he didn't hit it perfectly, it wouldn't have gotten there. And he hit a beautiful shot. He was 260 away. I'm seeing this now. Hit it to 7 feet. That's pretty good. Missed the eagle putt, but he made the birdie.
Yeah, it was something interesting that the PGA Tour decided to do. After the first 2 holes, which I think Sam Burns and Ryan Fox described. I think Ryan Fox described it more as like a pillow fight because they were just kind of cruising through, making par. It wasn't that difficult. So what the PGA Tour did is they changed the pin position for the 3rd and 4th playoff holes, which I've never seen them do. I didn't even know that was a thing that they could do, but it made it more interesting to see, hey, maybe a pin position that they were able to attack a little bit better. And then the guys played it through on that 1st playoff hole, the 3rd playoff hole, the 1st on the new hole location, then the 4th, and then somebody finally made a breakthrough. And that was, of course, Ryan Fox making this incredible shot that just it was a little power cut that he just drops in there like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Remember, this is the second time that Fox has won this year. He won the Myrtle Beach Classic
Yeah.
a couple at the start of May. So second time in 5 weeks, not too shabby for the New Zealander.
No, not at all. There's only a handful of guys that we can say have won multiple times this year. Off
Yeah.
the top of my head, it's, well,
Scotty.
Scotty,
Right.
Rory,
Yep.
um, Ryan Fox, Sepp Straka.
Yeah. You know it. You had to mention him.
Had to
I
mention Sepp
want to say
Straka.
that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it as
I think
well.
that's it.
That's an elite, full, like three others to join if you're Ryan
Well,
Fox.
right. I mean, if you're in the same company as Sepp Straka, I think you're in elite company.
I'd
Sorry,
agree.
I meant to say Scotty Scheffler. It's the two S. I get them mixed up. They
It's all
play
right.
essentially the same brand of golf. So,
Dude, I love Sepp Straka. That dude,
yeah, he's my
absolute
goat.
legend.
Yep.
Ryan Fox, he was plus 8,000 before Thursday's first round. Um, and yeah, who would have taken that bet? I'm not sure.
Not me.
Not me
Not me.
either.
Nope.
That's ballsy if you did. The PGA Tour website, they published an article that was an in-depth story about Ryan Fox. And apparently it wasn't
Oh,
even his
you know
first or
who
second
has won
choice.
twice is Ben Griffin because he won with Andrew Novak in the
Oh,
Zurich Classic.
I wonder if they're gonna count that
I think
as
it still
in the
counts as a
record.
PGA Tour win.
It
Yeah.
does. Yeah, it does. So I'll probably do.
Yeah.
Um, but we'll see because they could also, in my mind, count it as a half. He's
Yeah.
won one and a half.
Yeah. So it's
But
those
very
five
good call
guys
out.
who have won
It's
twice this
impressive.
year.
Good for
Yeah.
those guys. Good for the latter two, especially
Yeah.
Ben Griffin and Ryan Fox. But
Scotty and
apparently,
Rory, you expect them to do that.
you expect them, right?
So, but
Apparently, golf was never really Ryan Fox's first or second choice.
no, this was interesting. I read the PGA Tour profile that they put out on him after he won, and they said that he was interviewed. He said that he wanted to be an association rugby player or a professional cricketer, which is a cricket player, because his dad, Grant Fox, a very well a big time winner in rugby for New Zealand. And he holds the record for the most points scored in a Rugby World Cup tournament, which obviously you and I aren't big rugby guys. I
We're
assume
not.
that's a very large accomplishment.
Yeah, me too.
And then his
Sounds like it.
grandfather was a New Zealand test match captain and an accomplished cricket player in his own right. So test matches in cricket are those long 5-day ordeals where
Yeah.
it's national team versus national team, and they only happen every once in a while. So I'm pretty sure that being selected as a team captain for a test match is a pretty big honor in the sport of cricket. I'm not a
Wow.
cricket expert, but that's what I learned from my short research. I still don't know how the game is played. It's very confusing. It's
Yeah,
extremely confusing.
I don't either. When I went to Australia, I had to watch a little bit of
Yeah?
rugby.
Okay.
Not much
See, that
cricket.
makes more sense than cricket to me. Like rugby, I know there's some rules about like obviously you have to put the ball in the end zone for a try, I think it's called.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
And I mean, it's a fun sport to watch. Those guys are animals.
They are, dude.
They don't wear
They're
pads. It's
they don't wear
insane.
pads, but it also they like know how to correctly tackle.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you
They're
don't
not
just
just
launch
bashing
yourself.
into everybody.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They
So
do it
it's
safely. Yeah.
probably a little safer than the NFL, but
Honestly probably is.
and
I bet
I
the
don't
injury
know.
rate is lower.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to look up. We should.
Yeah.
Well, before we go on to our next bit, which I want to talk about LIV next before we preview the
Yes.
US Open, let's
Rocco.
talk about Rory McIlroy
Oh,
for a
yeah.
second here. Rory
Sure.
McIlroy, to find his name on this leaderboard, you got to scroll all the way to the bottom.
Yeah,
He
it was
shot
bad.
It was bad. He shot 71, 78, made a snowman on the second day. He was in real bad fits, and that is not a good sign heading into the third major of the year for him.
No, he said he needed to tweak his driver. That's what he's working on this week. He even thought about changing it out. And remember, I don't remember what tournament it was. It was one of the tournaments, I think, in Florida earlier in the year where Rory McIlroy came into the week with a QI 35 and paid almost $1,000 for an
Yeah.
Uber to come from his house in Jupiter, bring him his last year model, the QI 10, and he played well.
Yeah.
So, but now the QI10 maybe not working for him. Maybe because it's so odd, and you know this probably better than I do, but I think it goes for all golfers where you have something one day and then it's just this one feel that if you don't write it down or you just end up forgetting it, your whole swing can kind of fall apart.
That's definitely true. But he also had to get rid of the QI10 because it was non-conforming, which was
That
the
didn't
issue
help too.
that.
I remember that. Yes,
So
at the
he
PGA.
physically, yeah, at the PGA, so he can't use that driver anymore. So
Right,
now
right.
I remember
Well,
seeing
he
stuff
can use that model. He just can't use that same head.
that same
It's a
head, right?
different head of driver, which again, to those guys, it's a minuscule difference to you and I. But and I'm sure yours and my driver are 100% non-conforming based on just how old they are. I guarantee that they wouldn't pass those tests. But
Yeah.
for a guy on a PGA tour who knows his swing and is so precise, it's one of those things that can really make a big difference, I think.
Yeah, Oakmont is not a place you can go to having driver issues as well. Let me tell you something,
No, have you
dude.
seen the rough this week?
That's
Have you
what I was
played
gonna
it?
say. No, I haven't played Oak.
No.
I wish
Okay.
that would be so. That would be. That's a bucket list course for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but dude, the
Dude, the
rough.
rough is brutal.
I've been watching some YouTube
Unbelievable.
golf, dude. Like
Yeah.
these guys are getting destroyed.
Yeah.
It's going to be insane. I also saw this was something I was going to mention in gimmies, but it kind of fits perfectly here. Rory was asked by the media. He was allowed to go play Oakmont. I think this was a couple weeks or months ago on like a scouting
Hmm.
trip,
Sure.
and he played. They asked him what he shot. He said, "I birdied the last two holes to shoot 81."
Jesus.
There's going to
What?
be carnage, dude.
Oh my God. I think the winning score is going to be 3 or 4 under.
Under.
Maybe 5 under. Yeah, I
Really?
think so.
I would have said
Maybe
3 or 4
I think
over.
3 or 4 under. No, I think the winning score is going to be under par.
Really?
It's going to be
I
on that line though. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, this will be interesting
Somebody's
to
going
come
to get
back to.
hot in a big moment and just go after it. It's a major championship. I don't think we're going to see a winning score over par. I don't know when the last time that happened at a major would be.
Was it winged foot?
Not in my memory. I don't could have been.
I know that
What year was
Angel
that?
Cabrera, the last time that when he won in Oakmont, that was over par. He was like 4 over. I don't know. I can't remember when winged foot
Hmm.
was. Um,
Hmm.
we can find this. I'm also looking. So
I'm looking
Scotty
it up. Yeah.
Scheffler, yeah, look that up. I've got kind of another nugget about this. Scotty Scheffler, during his press conference, pre-tournament press conference, was talking about this golf course and just the state it's in. And he said this is the probably the hardest golf course that we'll maybe play ever, which coming from Scotty Scheffler, that's why I think that it's going to be over par. I feel like it has to be because also
Yeah.
those fairways, the greens are stimped at like 16. The fairways are stimped at like 8, 9, 10.
It's
Like
insane. The
the
fairways
fairways are
are
long.
greens.
They're greens. Like someone hit a putt from 120 yards out at the first hole.
I
It's
saw
slightly
that. It was
downhill.
nuts.
It got all
Yeah.
the way to the green.
It was insane.
I've also seen videos of Colin Morikawa hitting driver on the par 3 16th or something. That's
Holy
like
cow.
290 yards. There's gonna be some high scores, dude. Um, but I don't I everyone's talking about how it's gonna be over par. That's what everyone talks about every time the US Open comes around, and it
Yeah.
rarely happens. Did
Yeah.
you find that winged foot?
I think the most recent time, because this was the 2018 US Open, looks like the winning Brooks Koepka won. This was at Shinnecock Hills. He won at 1 over par.
That's right.
So I think that's the most recent time it happened. But
Uh-huh.
other than that, I feel like it doesn't happen. The US Open is the tournament that it's going to happen at
Yeah, 100%.
every year.
They draft this tournament to be the hardest test in golf.
Yep.
It really wasn't last year.
It
I
wasn't at all.
No, the past couple of years. I remember LA Country Club, they were in double digit under pars.
Yeah, it was Wyndham Clark won at 10 under in 2023.
Yeah,
Last year was Bryson DeChambeau at 6 under at
6
Pinehurst.
under.
You go back to Pebble Beach in 2019, Gary Woodland won at 13 under.
I was at that tournament, dude.
Oh yeah,
I was at that,
really?
which that was really fun to go to. I was there on Sunday. It was Gary Woodland, and then Brooks Koepka was right behind. And Brooks, if he
Hmm.
won, it would have been 3 straight, and that
Yes.
would have set a record. And Gary Woodland
Yeah.
pulled it out, which was very cool to watch.
Yeah, I'm turning wow. So yeah, Angel Cabrera +5.
Plus
And then
5.
2006, Jeff Ogilvy, I think is how you pronounce it, won at Winged Foot in 2006, excuse me, at 5 over as well.
Wow.
So, but other than that, I think 5 over is that record. And then the one
Okay.
that jumps out to me on the page, 2017 at Erin Hills, Brooks kept a one at 16 under.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
remember that.
That was a tournament that had a lot of asterisks next to it. There was some weird moments in that tournament.
There really were, dude.
People hated the coverage because I want to say that was the first year that it was on Fox.
Yeah, Joe Buck was the main
Yes.
play-by-play guy,
Yeah.
which is just kind of
People
weird.
he caught a lot of flack for it. I didn't think
He
he was
did.
that bad,
I didn't
but
either.
people didn't like him
No, people hate Joe Buck
for
a
some
lot.
reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's easy to do just when you think of his dad and blah 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 blah. We're not getting into Joe Buck.
No. We're
Um,
Joe Buck enjoyers around these
we are
parts.
Joe Buck enjoyers. We are.
Yes.
Let's move on to Live Golf
Yeah.
Virginia was played last week, and guess who won? The
Joaquin
best
Neiman.
golfer in the world.
Okay, man.
Neiman.
Let's cool it. We can't feed that because there's been instance after instance where we say things on this podcast and then
Then things happen.
it actually happens. So we
Yeah.
can't we can't be pushing these false narratives. But yeah, Joaquin Neiman is dominating Live this year. The most wins in a Live season. His fourth individual title of 2025 on 15 underscore, one shot better than one Graham McDowell.
Yeah.
Good for
Graham
him.
spelled the more traditional European way,
Yes,
Grame.
yes, that's right. Crushers GC won the team trophy, their second consecutive win. They now trail only 10 points behind Legion 13, Legion 8. I always mess that up. It's Legion 8, isn't it? No, it's
No,
13.
that's 13.
I'm terrible with Roman numerals. This is a problem every week. I should just write it as 13.
Yeah, I think I've been saying 8 as well now that I think
XIII
about it. That's
Roman
13. That is
numerals.
most definitely 13.
It is 13.
Have I
Legion
been
13.
saying 8?
I think we have.
I think, yeah. All right, apologies everyone listening. It's Legion 13.
8 is VIII, I think.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. And then 9
Wow.
is IV.
Yeah.
I think. No, 9 is IX.
IX.
Dude, these things are too
This
hard.
we're exposing ourselves here. We need to move on.
I prefer numbers.
Me as well.
Anyway, Phil Mickelson had a pretty cool shot this weekend at Live. A sideways flop shot. Vintage Phil coming back out. He drained it in a position where I think a lot of people would struggle to even get it onto the green.
Yeah.
He was hunting for the lead at that point. There was 4 players, including Phil, who finished the event tied for 4th. That score being 13 under. So it was a really packed field. Honestly, exciting competition at Live.
Yeah, really, really exciting and cool to see. It's always cool to see Phil back up there from time to time, just because he's getting older by PGA Tour athlete standards.
What is he? What, 50 something now?
Probably around there.
Let's see.
I do know
54.
54. I do know that at that tournament, Phil said that this could very well be his last try at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, it's tough for. I mean, that's those conditions at that age. You have to have distance and so much accuracy to boot.
And that's the one that he's never
skilled.
won. Yeah.
Right.
And so it's, he might never get that Grand Slam, which he had a lot of chances. He had a couple chances standing on the 18 tee to win. Never really did it. So, but the live competition, it's now in my mind kind of starting to separate. We're seeing the John Rahms at the top, the Phil Mickelsons, the Joaquin Neimans. We've seen Bryson, right? And for a while there, it kind of felt like there was always a handful of guys in the top 10 that you were like, who is that?
Right.
But that doesn't really feel like it's the case, at least in my mind, from what I've seen. I could just be that I'm following it now more because we have this podcast.
Right.
But who knows?
It's the other thing. That's the issue with Live, right? I think that it's just hard for people unless you like the athletes previously. It's hard to get interest because it's such a new league and there's no storylines around it. Like the PGA Tour plays at these historic venues that legends have played at. There's just not that history with Live, and that's just a product of its infancy. But the other thing, just based on the model of Live, even 10, 15 years down the line, I don't know if we're going to have those records, and well, they'll have the records, but just the legends and that sort of stuff. I feel like we're not going to have like just that same thing that we had on PGA Tour, which is a shame, but that's what it is. And it's not going to change, I don't think.
Right. And the way that things are looking with contract renewals.
Yeah, I don't think we've heard any news on the Brooks and Bryson front, have we?
No news. So we'll just have to keep an eye out for that. That's going to be breaking when it drops. So
Yeah, it's gonna be big.
we won't be able to miss it, I don't think. But if we do, that
No,
would be
we won't be able to
unfortunate.
avoid that. Nope.
No. I also found that on the PGA Tour, Joaquin Niemann made $15.8 million from his earnings from winning or
Let me
competing.
guess. He's already eclipsed that this year.
Well, I only have the numbers since joining LIV. He
Right.
most definitely has eclipsed that this year. Since
Yeah.
joining LIV in 2022, he's made $53.5 million.
Oh my God.
And that's not like signing bonus or
Wow.
contract. That's in earnings.
Wow. That's in pure earnings. Holy cow.
Yeah. So he's on
He's
a
been
stretch,
good.
dude.
Yeah.
He's
I want to
playing
see him
really
do
good.
well at a major. I think we've said that. I think we both agree that we want to see him do well.
Yeah.
He's one of the very likable live guys, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I think that this could be his chance. I think
Yeah.
the US Open could be a good shot for him. He's got good
Yeah.
distance. He's got a good crafty short game. He's playing well.
You just can't make any mistakes at this course. You just
No,
can't.
you really can't.
Um, the other thing that I saw is everyone's favorite um, sworn enemy of Rays Creek is joining Live Golf.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
the
Whoa. What's
sworn
his
enemy
name?
of Rays Creek.
I'm gonna find it here because I sent it to you and it was quick.
Yes,
Reigning US amateur champion, um, Ballister.
Jose
Hosel.
Luis Ballester.
Yes. Signs
I
with
think it
Live
is.
Golf.
Yeah,
Joins Sergio Garcia's Fireballs GC, which we kind of knew that
not a
was
shock.
coming.
He turned down his PGA Tour card,
And was,
so
quote, in close talks with John Rahm.
yeah, that the writing's on the wall at that point. So good
Yeah.
for him. He's got his bag. He had a
Yeah.
great, I mean, just a fantastic amateur career.
Yeah.
Um, so the
And
skill is
collegiate.
there, but definitely, you know, yeah. The Foreplay podcast put out a post on Instagram said, "Win the U.S. Amateur, play in the Masters, P in Rays Creek, and sign with Live Golf. Quite the year for Jose Luis Ballester," which sums it up pretty well.
Yeah, pretty much. I've got one more thing I want to talk about with Liv before we get to our next segment. John Rahm has been in the top 10 in 21 straight Live events. That is over 18 months long.
Jeez,
He
and
is
hasn't won, has he?
he might have
I feel
won.
like maybe he did. Let me
I don't
look.
know. But
Golf.
it's an unbelievable stretch that this guy is on because when he left the PGA Tour, his game plummeted. And
Yeah.
people kind of forgot he kind of fell off the face of the planet, especially, when you only get 4 shots a year, really, to
Yep.
remind people that you're a good golfer as you join Live.
Right.
But he's putting up numbers on that tour. And he was asked about it at a media this week. And he said this. He said, I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't easier to have top tens with a smaller field.
Yeah, I mean, that's just math.
Yeah. He,
Yeah.
he was, he clearly was being very careful about what he was going to say, but he
Yeah.
was like, I'm a realist. Like, it's easier. There's literally less people. And he said that he
Mhm.
thinks if it was a larger field, meaning PGA Tour size, that it would likely be, consistent top 30s, maybe top
Yeah.
25s.
Yeah. He has won twice. His first and third events last year that he played. He won both of those in Chicago and the UK. Hasn't won since.
Wow. Yeah, it's been a while for him. He's in a winning drought.
Yep.
He's another guy that could perform. He played well at the Masters, and then he was close at the PGA, but that fourth round
I think
at the
he
PGA,
just fell off at
he
that
dropped
point.
off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, who knows what that could be. Let's talk about Ryder Cup updates
The Ryder Cup date.
the Ryder Cup date. I like that.
Yes, sir.
As it is
Well,
the US Open. We
yep,
should talk
it
about the
is.
US and
We should.
European
And I
teams.
think this tournament is going to give us the biggest, or rather the most accurate preview of what we're going to see at Bethpage Black in the fall. Just course difficulty wise. I
Yeah.
can't imagine it's going to be set up as difficult as Oakmont, but it's going to be pretty close.
Yeah, I agree.
So we look at the U.S. Ryder Cup team. Scotty Scheffler is an automatic qualifier, mathematical qualifier. So
Yeah.
he'll be, I assume he'll be leading the field.
one.
Yeah. Xander Schauffele in second still, Bryson DeChambeau in third, Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, and Russell Henley round out those top six. Down from
Russell
the top 10
Henley.
for the U.S., Ben Griffin in 7th, Mav McNeely in 8th, Harris English in 9th, and then Andrew Novak hopped up to 10th. The European side, Rory McIlroy still leads it by a hefty amount. Second place, Shane Lowry. Third place, our boy Step Straka.
Yo.
Rasmus Højgaard in 4th. Tyrrell Hatton in 5th. Tommy Fleetwood in 6th. Ludwig Oberg made a jump up one spot this last week above Justin Rose. He's in 7th. Rustin Rose falls to 8. Thomas Detry in 9th. And Matt Wallace is in 10th.
Yeah, 7 through 10 on both sides is really interesting. Like on the American side, you know, it's not, it feels wrong to say there's a talent drop off, but there's just a drop off in big names.
Yes.
Like, Ben Griffin, he's been playing phenomenal golf. Can he, it could just be a hot stretch. Can he keep it up? Come Bethpage Black time. Same with Maverick McNeely, Harris English, Andrew Novak. That's when, you turn to LIV and you're like, okay, who could potentially be in this spot? Who could potentially be there? Which I don't really know. I don't know if.
Not sure.
On the American side, if the LIV golfers are playing good enough right now.
Well, I think obviously Bryson is a shoo-in. He's not going to fall out. He's been too good at majors. But it is tough for these guys to get the points that they need. Now, are there captain's picks so can they pick guys from LIV? Is that possible?
I don't know. That's actually a really good question. I think that they can pick guys from LIV because LIV guys can play like Bryson.
Right.
But that's what the question I was gonna raise with the European side.
They're eligible for the 6 captains picks. Yes.
Okay. So, 7 through 10, there's no mention of Jon Rahm. But I mean, I would rather pick Jon Rahm over, honestly, Matt Wallace.
Yeah.
Just because he beat Tiger Woods in his first Ryder Cup.
I know, but I really think it's disingenuous to those guys, especially I wouldn't pick him over Oberg. I wouldn't pick him over Detry, to be honest. I'd pick him over Matt Wallace. I have a hard time picking him over Justin Rose.
I agree. I agree with Rosie. I think Detry's right on the line for me.
Yeah.
We'll kind of have to see how he keeps playing. But
well, I mean, he was top 15 this last weekend. He has been really consistent. He's won an event this year.
Yeah.
I think he's well deserving of a shot at that team, but it's up to the captain's picks after those top 6.
I feel like this is going to be the most entertaining captain's picks that we have had probably since Tiger was eligible and was playing well. And he picked himself as a captain's pick for the President's Cup, which was electric.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Dude, this is going to be such an important tournament.
Yeah, and it gets as close as we get. I think the British Open is the last event, I want to say, that qualifies for points. I don't know about that. I think it's pretty close for Ryder Cup points.
Oh, for Ryder Cup points.
Yeah, I think the cutoff is somewhere at the end of July.
Interesting.
And then the teams get picked. But as we get closer and closer, these events become more important and grow in magnitude for these guys who are just on the bubble.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's get to some gimmies. I kind of want to end with our
US Open preview.
Yeah, and then we'll get into our made or missed. As we already have discussed, this episode was a little bit more rushed and less we didn't get to go through our full routine, we'll say, when it comes to writing our episodes. So
like
I've got my gimmies on my phone.
He just gets up and hits.
He just gets up and hits. That's right. We've already talked about a lot of these, which is nice. The PGA did do a breakdown of Rory versus Scotty as we enter this tournament. Scotty ranked first in FedEx Cup and in the world. Rory is second. Both have 3 wins this year. Scotty has 9 top 10s. Rory has 5.
Yeah.
Scotty has made 12 starts. Rory has made 10. Scotty has the best scoring average on the PGA at 68.6. Rory has the second best at 69.6. So those two guys have been playing some golf.
Yeah, they're right there. Hey, you know who still leads the PGA Tour in birdie average?
Sepp Straka.
You're darn right he does.
Best dude, my favorite golfer. Like he's my favorite golfer.
Yeah. But yeah, scoring average, shots gained. Scotty is, oh my God.
What?
Scotty is so far ahead of everybody else. It's insane. This is strokes gained total. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Sepp Straka is in second at 1.588 on average.
Okay.
Scotty Scheffler leads at 2.687.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's insane.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Like he's so good at golf. I don't see a time anytime soon where he's slowing down.
He's
Like,
also 70% at scrambling. That's second best.
oh my gosh. He is unbelievable. Did you know this is kind of a funny segue into our next gimme. Scotty Scheffler had to delete his Venmo because fans were requesting money.
What? I saw this. I didn't get it. I'm like, what?
Dude, I guess people found his phone number
Oh boy.
and they were plugging it in to Venmo and
Oh my
requesting
God.
money.
It's my worst nightmare.
I know. It's so funny. I just think that's hilarious.
That's funny.
Another
Scott,
Scotty.
he's gonna make jokes about that.
Yeah, exactly. Another
Yeah.
cool Scotty thing that I saw this morning. People were kind of talking about how his swing coach stands behind him as he's hitting on the range, and everyone was kind of wondering like why behind. You can't see much from that angle. It's more face on and then down the line. And there's one, or I guess two things in Scotty's setup that his coach looks for every time that he's hitting to just make sure that he's in a correct spot. The first is that his hips are level, not tilted one way, tilted the other way. Second,
Right.
that there's a slight bend in his spine away from the target. So I guess he can get
So do you
too
mean like
vertical.
he's tilted to the like
Yes.
horizontally, or are you talking
Like
about
left shoulder a little bit higher than the right. And
okay?
his spine has got to curve away from the target,
Yeah.
kind of
Okay.
back towards his right foot, his trail foot,
Huh.
which I thought was interesting. I've never really heard about that.
I guess
But
is he trying to, I mean, that'll probably help him impart more compression and spin on the ball, would be my
yeah,
guess.
I think it's, yeah, just to get him in the right spot every
Or if he
time.
was getting too steep.
Yeah, which I think is possible because he's very over the top.
Yeah.
So if he gets too much this way, it just is going to make it come down over more.
Right.
But I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. And Scheffler, I remember, do you remember our Masters preview episode where I think everybody was in agreement? It was you, me, Luke Brenneman, and Thomas Crow, where everybody was in agreement, no doubt, that Rory McIlroy was playing the best golf in the world at that point. That was
Yes.
just a fact. That is
Yes.
completely switched.
Yeah.
Completely. There is zero doubt in anybody's mind. You'd be insane to say Scotty Scheffler is not playing the best golf on the planet right now. You'd be insane to say it.
It's literally 2 months later,
Yeah.
everything has changed.
Just total flip. Total
Scotty
flip.
has taken over once, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's got a slow start. He's slowing down." And
Who
then he wins
cares? No, he's
3
not.
back to back to back and wins the PGA. And
It's
it's
just
like,
ridiculous.
and he's like, "Sorry,
It's not fair. Yeah. It
It's
just
not
has to
fair.
go and do it.
Yeah. Did you see the shorts that Jason Day was wearing at
Yeah, that
yesterday's?
was, it's just insane. I mean, he and Minwoo Lee were chatting it up about it. I saw
Really,
they were just, yeah. I think Minwoo Lee threw out the first pitch at the Pirates game last night.
really.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, dude. Well, for anyone that didn't see it, Jason Day was in American flag shorts.
They were very bright. That's
They were
for sure.
very bright.
Very
and he's-
patriotic from the Aussie.
I'm looking at it right now. He's also got a shirt that the inside of the collar also has the stars of
Okay, that's kind of cool.
it is kind of cool of the
I'll
flag.
give him that. I'll
And
give him that.
apparently Americans have won 8 of the last 10 US Opens.
Yes.
So he's probably just channeling his inner American.
Of which there is probably a lot.
Yeah, he lives in Columbus, Ohio, dude. Like
What?
that's the heart of America right there, Ohio.
I guess.
Or maybe
Yeah.
not in Columbus, but he does. It might be Springfield, Ohio. He lives in Ohio. I remember
Interesting.
because
He's not one of the Jupiter guys, huh?
no, not that I.
Huh.
When I went to school in Ohio, he was in
Okay.
Ohio still. He could have moved.
There you go.
But his fit was just hilarious. Last gimme that I
Yeah.
have at
Still
least
does.
the Justin Thomas. Oh, he still does.
Yes, he does.
Wow, good for that guy, dude.
I saw this one. This is the Justin Thomas tweet from yesterday.
Yes,
Oh, this is brilliant.
Justin Thomas tweeted. He said, "Everyone's been talking about, oh, what would an X handicap shoot at Oakmont?" And he's tired of it. He wants to know what would happen. He said, "Why don't we find out? Have a 5, 10, 18, whatever handicap play Monday after the US Open, back tees, full rules of golf, and see what happens." He said he may have to let a few groups through and allow for 6 to 7 hours, but That'd be pretty fun. No, I think so.
Yeah, I would watch that. I would like to play in that. That
Yeah.
would be fun. JJ Watt responded to him with a Michael Scott. No, that's not Michael Scott, but it is a Steve Carell gif of him saying, "I volunteer as tribute." So
Oh my
JJ Watt
gosh.
wants to do it.
That's
I think we all
hilarious.
want to do it. Someone responded and said something like this could raise so much money for a charity. People are interested, could buy a raffle ticket for a chance to play.
Oh my
Justin Thomas,
gosh.
yeah, that's a big idea.
Yeah,
Someone else said, absolutely, and not influencers, a real GHIN holding normal person. And Justin Thomas says, agreed.
I totally agree. Dude, if they did that after every major donated the
Incredible.
money raised to a charity, also that would be amazing. But am I totally like delusional to think that that would get so many eyes on TV?
I think what? I think people would
I
watch that
I feel like
just for
so
the
many people
novelty
would watch
factor.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just for the total novelty factor, I think that would be insane.
It would be so fun. Don't even like don't make them play multiple rounds like the pros, but just like
No. Oh,
one
God.
shot, 18 holes Monday. Like that would be amazing. I would watch that in a heartbeat.
Do you think a scratch golfer breaks 90 there? I don't think so.
Oh my gosh.
Definitely not
Dude,
85. I don't
this
think.
is
90,
such
maybe.
a
I don't think they
okay.
break 85.
Are they is it a like are they career in it or on an average day where they would normally shoot like if we're saying
Average.
average day, so
Yeah.
they're shooting what 72, 73 at
Maybe
like
74. Yeah.
maybe
I don't
74.
think they're breaking 85. I don't think
This is
so.
so tough. I think 85. Oh, dude, I
It's a
think they
good
could get an
line. It's a
83
really
there.
good
I
line.
think they could get an 83. I
Maybe.
I think they could get an
Yeah.
83. Okay, this is funny. The conversation that my golf team always used to have was
Yeah.
if you being like a D3 college golfer, because we all were in this van riding this conversation.
Hmm.
If you as a D3 college golfer played your best round ever, if you careered it at Augusta National, what would you shoot?
Oh, I think
And
you would shoot 75, 74.
people were arguing they wouldn't break 80.
Oh, I don't think that's true at all. I think you would break 80, probably 76, 77, I would think.
76, 77.
If you're playing that well, that course is not as hard as Oakmont. I don't think.
Not as hard as
I don't
Oakmont,
think,
but
right. It's very difficult, obviously, but I
yeah.
don't
I
know.
think the other thing we
These,
had in there was it's in tournament condition, like it's in
okay,
Masters
that
condition.
changes. I mean, I don't know how much that changes because I mean, you and I have never played it. We'll never play it. We don't know anybody who's played it. We'll probably never know anyone who's played it. Um, but I don't know how much different it is on tournament week compared to how they keep it during the rest of the year, which it's, excuse me, not really open for that long.
No, yeah, very short season. Um, I want to find out though, dude. I want to
Yeah,
like
that'd be
I
kind
think
of
that'd be
cool.
so cool if we put like one of the best D3 players in the world on Augusta
Yeah,
and just like, let a couple of them play until one of them was like careering it. What would they shoot?
yeah. I don't
Um,
know.
I don't know either. But that is going to wrap up our gimmies. Let's get to what we've all been waiting for, our preview of the 125th US Open held at Oakmont Country Club. We've talked about it a little bit already. The defending champion is Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah, he
This,
rolled in out of his car with the cup in his right hand. He hops out of his car and he's got the cup in his right hand.
he
It was a
did.
pretty cool video.
That was a pretty cool video. So if we talked about the Pinehurst score, he won at 6 under.
Yes,
I felt like Pinehurst was playing very difficult
I
that
think so.
week, but
If that
I
was
don't think
playing
it's going to
difficult,
touch Oakmont.
no,
I mean,
I don't
some of
think
the
so.
videos that we've seen is
You see
absolutely insane.
the course workers and volunteers pushing around their electric hand mowers. One guy
Yes.
has it like way above him on the
Yeah.
bank of the bunker and trying to cut the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
also saw
insane.
something. I saw the groundskeeper talking about how normally they keep the rough somewhere between like 2 and 3 inches. They're trying to
Mhm.
get it to like 6, but they're trying to do so healthily where it doesn't just like grow all kinds of ways.
Yeah,
So what
yeah.
they had to
It's
do
gotta be
is
tough.
it's been like a year-long process, I think,
Wow.
of where they grow it a little bit, mow it so that it keeps growing the correct way. And
Hmm.
that's why the ball's sitting down so much, is because it's
Mm,
not all kind of jumbled and the ball can just kind of sit like flat on top of like a fluffy rough. It
right.
stinks because it's all growing in the same direction.
Oh my gosh. So it just gets plugged in there. You just have to muscle it out.
You have to muscle it
You
out.
guys are gonna be going out sideways. You have to go out sideways.
You do. You really do. It's like they have thought about this. They have been so meticulous about making this golf
Yeah.
course literally the hardest test in golf. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Um, let's see, what else do we have here? We talked about the
Talked
Ryder
about,
Cup.
yep. Talked about the Rory struggles. I don't think he's
Yeah.
got a shot this weekend.
Don't think he's got a shot.
No, I don't.
Wow. Okay, do you think he's got a shot to make the cut?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to contend for the win.
You don't think he's going to contend, just make the cut and hang around?
No. Yeah.
That's interesting. I think that,
But at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked if he does miss the cut. I'm not anticipating it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah. I
Like
also,
totally surprised.
I think, the other side of the same coin, I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden he is competing
Yeah,
because all he
it's
needs to seem to do is get that driver fixed.
right. Yeah, everything else has been pretty solid for him.
Yeah.
What sort of player does this course benefit? I think the quick answer is absolutely nobody. It's going to kick everybody's ass, which I think is true.
Yeah.
But some are going to get hit around by it a little bit more, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be a long ball hitter. You have to be.
Yeah.
But more than that, you've got to hit it straight. I think that, take a guy like, let's say, Sahith Theegala, who hits it really far.
He withdrew this week. He's not playing.
Really?
I think he's
Wow,
injured.
I didn't see that. Well,
Yeah, I saw
I'll
that
keep the
yesterday.
example true.
It's
Say,
still a good example. Great
yeah,
swing, a lot of power.
a lot of power, but not great control, especially as
Yeah.
of late. He hasn't had great control. Take him and then take Colin Morikawa, a guy that has to hit driver on a par three because he just doesn't have the muscle. I think I'd take Colin over Sahith as far as
Yeah.
driving goes because
Yeah.
being out of the
Because
rough is so important.
right. And if we talked about it, the speed of these fairways, if you get on it and assuming there's no rain, I don't know what the weather forecast looks
It's a
like.
good question.
Yeah, put that one on the poll. The ball's going to run out.
Yeah,
So I think the distance factor might get negated a little bit, especially when guys, if they're launching it high with the driver, it's going to land hard, and
uh-huh.
then it'll careen and just go.
Yeah, it's so true, dude. Things are going to get real interesting at Oakmont this weekend.
Really? What are we seeing?
Beautiful day tomorrow, high of 84, sunny all day.
Yeah.
On Friday, it starts to rain. It won't start. Okay, Friday, it looks like they might actually be safe. It starts to rain
hmm
at 9 p.m.
Okay, they should be
On
done. They'll be done by then.
Saturday, they're getting some more rain in the afternoon, evening. And then it
Mm.
looks like it's going to rain the morning before Sunday.
So
So
the course is going to be wet
Sunday,
on the weekend.
yeah.
Wow.
So Sunday could get interesting. I'm going to cross check this with I've got two
Yeah. Now, in
weather
your
apps.
opinion, does I think it varies on court, like based on the course, but when a course is wet and a little softer, it helps players, no?
Um,
It
it,
helps in some aspects. It softens it up a
yeah,
little bit, slows it down,
right.
but you get mud balls, you get crappier lies in the rough, and
Exactly.
you lose the feel off the face because your ball's covered in water,
Right. Yeah, it
so
helps
you
like
lose
hitting
control.
into a green.
hmm
It depends, if the best scenario, honestly, is when it rains enough that it becomes lift clean in place. That's
Mm,
not going to happen at Oakmont
no,
at the US Open. So
there's no
for
chance they
them,
put that into play.
yeah, I would just, if I'm them, I'm praying it just doesn't rain
Yeah,
because it's better for it to not rain than to get some rain to try to soften it and then risk the mud balls.
yeah,
According to the weather app, so I was looking at the iPhone app
sure.
before.
Apple weather, yeah.
Apple weather. According to the Weather Channel, there's lightning on the forecast for Saturday and Sunday.
Oh boy.
So things will get real dicey. No rain Friday for them, just cloudiness.
So a
Um,
clean weekend or a clean Thursday, Friday, maybe a little bit of touch and go weekend. It'll be interesting to
yeah,
follow.
it will be. It really will be. I found the broadcast schedule for the
Hey,
U.S. Open. If
what
anyone
do we
is
got?
interested,
Let's hear it.
we have, as I
I think it's
slowly go,
CBS, right? Or is it NBC this
it's
week?
NBC.
NBC. Okay.
So Thursday from 6:30 in the morning to 5 p.m. it'll be on USA, and
Mm.
then from 5 to 8 it's on Peacock.
hmm
On Friday 6:30 to 1 it's on Peacock, then 1 to 7 it's on NBC, and then from
hmm
7 to 8 it's back on Peacock. And then on Saturday 10 a.m. to noon it's on USA. This is all in Eastern time, by the way.
Yep.
And then noon to 8 p.m. it's on NBC. And then Sunday 9 a.m. to 12 it's on USA, and then 12 to 7 on NBC.
Yep.
So,
That's pretty standard. Put it
yeah,
on the streaming service, especially in that 7 to 8 window when
yeah,
It's the weekday, so you have to have local news. Got to have Wheel of Fortune. Got to have Jeopardy in that 7 to 8 slot. The
Yep.
staples of retirement. Um, and yeah,
Yeah.
but
I
then
like
NBC has done really well. I like their coverage. NBC and CBS are perfect.
Yeah, they've done a really good
They're
job, both
both
of
really
them.
good.
I appreciate that they don't put anything on Peacock on Saturday or
Like
Sunday. Yeah.
exclusively, right?
That always frustrates me when it's
Unfortunately, I think it's only a matter of time before we see that, but enjoy it while we can.
yeah, exactly. I think now's a good time to go to Made or Missed.
Let's do it.
Things are getting dicey.
Oh yeah, I had a
You
real good week last week. I
you
was
did.
going down, I was picking, or I wasn't picking, I was looking at the results. I got the first 5 or 6 right, and then we both missed horribly on the I think we missed on Luke List, I want to say. Let me go back and look at the
Oh,
version history of our little prep doc here. But we go in and we had, let's see. I got the first, that's 7 correct.
wow.
And then Matthew Pavon had a 12 on the first hole of the tournament and shot an 80 something
Yeah,
on Thursday.
that's
Um,
unfortunate.
yeah. So we both missed that. We both missed on the Eric Van Ruyen pick, and we both got Gary Woodland right. You
Yeah.
got 6 points last week. I got 8. So it's a 3 point gap. You're at
It's a 3 point
114
gap.
on the season. I know. You had like a 12 point lead at some point, and
I
now
know I did.
it's dwindling, my friend.
It
You're at
is.
114. I'm at 111. You picked Nick Taylor last week. He finished tied for 13th. I picked Mackenzie Hughes. He finished tied for 27th. So neither of our picks were really in contention. Let's get it started with Akshay Bhatia. Is he going to make or miss the cut at Oakmont?
I think he's gonna miss the cut.
I'm with you right there.
Yep.
This course is too hard for a guy who, again, not a ton of experience, right? He's a young guy. I think this is going to kill people this, like, not actually, hopefully, but this is going to kill guys this week. This rough is just going to end their hopes, I think.
Yeah. I'm thinking too, like Akshay has had driver trouble. I remember
Hmm.
at Jack's tournament how he asked Jack for help with the driver,
Yeah,
and
hit
Jack
it
was like, hit more
straighter.
fairways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Um,
Sure, helpful.
so I don't
Yeah,
think that you can't have that. You can't be
yeah.
missing fairways consistently. Um, Sam Burns is an interesting one. I like this.
He is. And I'm going to say he makes it because he has
Mm,
been the best putter on tour this year.
interesting.
Based on strokes gained on the green, he has been pretty well. He is number 1 on tour right now. I think that's going to help him. He doesn't jump off the page in any other statistics, but
Yeah. Best.
if you can get
Wow.
on and avoid mistakes on the green, because I mean the greens are quick, then I think you have a shot to make the cut. I think Sam Burns is going to play on the weekend this week.
All right. Hey, putt for dough. I'm with you. I didn't know that
All right.
stat. That's
Yeah.
pretty impressive. I looking at Wyndham Clark. I think he misses.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's just because he hasn't had a great year. I feel like
Yeah.
he's been playing decent, but just not enough. And then at this course, I feel like he's not playing at the level that he was playing at in 2023 when he won a major.
Yeah. I would agree. What are your thoughts on Harris English?
No chance. No chance this week.
No
He
chance.
won an event this year, but this is Oakmont.
This is Oakmont.
The field's too good, I think. It's one
Hmm.
of those where I mean, it's a major and the big names are going to rise to the top. And I don't, hey, go prove me wrong. I just don't see it this week.
Yeah, I think he's gonna make it.
Okay.
Um, I'm looking at he's ninth in the Ryder Cup standings. He seems to
He
me
is.
like a guy that's just always like there. Like he's just
Yeah.
consistent. He doesn't necessarily compete all the time, but he's
Hmm.
got a consistent game. I could be thinking wrong.
That
But
sounds
that's my
right. Yeah.
perception of
Yeah.
him. Um,
Lucas Glover.
I
How
love this
about?
one. Lucas
Yeah.
Glover. For
Yeah.
my good friend Josh Post, I'm gonna say that he makes it.
Okay. I can't go with you there in
Oh
your
no,
conscience. I just can't.
Josh.
He's been good this year, but again, it's just let's say his results at majors this year. He's made 10 cuts, missed 5, 3 top tens, cut at the Masters, tied for 37th at the PGA with a last round 75, 71-70 on Thursday, Friday.
Hmm,
But that cut, he barely snuck in, I think, to that cut.
gotcha. That's fair. I can't get mad at it. Um, but what are your thoughts on Victor Hovland?
This is one I go back and forth on because I want him to do well, but this is another guy that I feel like has just not been up to the level that we kind of expect him to be at in 2025. He's had a couple of really good years in past years, but he started out really slow. And he won the Valspar this year, but
Hmm.
other than that, it's been kind of a story of just he's made cuts. He's only missed twice. Made the cut at the Masters. He played decent, but he hasn't played since the Memorial Tournament. So taking a little bit of time off. I'm gonna say he gets it done. He's a bigger name guy. I don't think he's gonna contend, but I say he makes it this week.
Yeah, I'm going to as well. Hasn't missed a cut since the Players. Um,
Wait, hold on. This isn't the right. Wait, did I not do these? I think we're picking the same guys as last week. Hold on. I think I messed this up.
oh no.
Oh no.
It's still a decent list. Well, we can just change the last four.
Sure.
Let's add in
No,
some
it's
live
not the same.
guys.
It's not the same. I just didn't change the last four.
Okay,
Whoops.
so the last
Oh
four.
well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Because I don't even think Luke List is playing this week.
Okay.
So let's
go bar
go
for bar.
with,
You pick one, I pick
let's do
one.
it. We're gonna go Brooks Koepka.
Ooh. Ooh.
It's a good one first, huh?
What do I do?
I did not.
Brooks.
I just forgot about the last four. I changed the first six, but
Yeah.
guess just tailed off. My bad.
I think he's
But
gonna
here
miss
we
it.
are. I'm with you. I don't think he's
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
No.
I okay. Yeah, he's just not playing good.
Nope.
My turn. I want to pick as many live guys as we can here because
Yeah.
we don't get to see him much. I'm
I know there's one you want to go with. There is. And I'll say it if you don't.
Joaquin Neiman.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think he's gonna make it.
I think he's gonna make it too.
Yeah.
But he could very easily not.
Yeah, it's one of those. I think we'll have a good picture after Thursday.
Yeah, I agree. All right, your turn.
Let's think. Sergio Garcia playing this weekend?
Oh, I'm sure. Let's check though.
He could be a good one. I'm gonna make sure. U.S. Open. I don't think he is.
No.
No.
I mean, the last time he won a major was a while ago, so
A while ago.
he might have
So,
lost
yeah.
his eligibility.
Let's go down. Just going down the list. A couple of guys. Patrick Cantlay might be a good one, but I feel like
Ooh.
he's gonna. I think he's a good guy to make it. I don't feel like that's kind of a guy who's
Yeah.
gonna be on the edge. What about Tyrrell Hatton, the top
Ooh, I like it,
world top
Tyrrell
10
Hatton.
guy? Yeah,
This is a
he's
good
in the top
question.
10, but again, a live guy who doesn't play as many events just because he's on live, and he
Yeah.
has half decent odds to win. He's plus
He does.
5,500. It's the same as Victor Hovland.
Yeah.
But what do we think?
I think he's gonna make it.
I'm with you. I am.
Okay. Last but not least, I'm gonna go with Phil Mickelson
Okay.
and what could be his last US Open.
I don't think he's got it. I want to see him do it, but
Yeah,
I think this course is just playing too tough for his game at this point in time.
I do as well. I mean, the short game helps. His short game obviously is very helpful in this, but his driving is known for being not the greatest. So
Right.
I'm gonna go
All
with
right,
you there.
I'll add one more quick segment. It's obviously a shoo-in that Sepp Straka is going to make the cut. Will he finish in the top 20?
Yes.
Yes. Good answer. That's correct.
Although
Correct.
he did miss the cut at the PGA.
Yeah, I know.
Which that
but
was
That was
shocking.
a fluke. That was a fluke. That was
Yeah.
fake. That was fake.
All right, Andrew, who do you have?
Always a good time. Oh
Always a good
man.
time. Who do you have
Listen, I
winning?
haven't picked him in a while, and I think I have to ride the hot hand. I know it's cheap. I know it's a cop out, but I am going to say Scotty Scheffler wins.
Boring.
Listen, man, we can't just ban him every week, right?
We might have to. We might
We
have
may
to start.
have to. If he wins, I think we put a little Scotty
If-
Scheffler moratorium out there.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this one.
Okay.
I've been thinking about this
Who
one.
who have you been going back and forth between? I'm curious.
Well, Scotty Scheffler.
Yes.
He's obviously up there. And
Yeah, he
then
has a plus 280 odds to win, by the way.
plus 280. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yes.
And then Joaquin Neiman, I think he's got a good game to fit this golf, or not fit this golf. No golf game fits this golf course.
No.
Survive this golf course.
That's a better, yeah.
I think he's got a good game to survive this golf course. But do you know who I'm feeling right now?
Maybe a Xander?
No.
No?
We've been talking about it. I'm feeling a Sepp Straka, dude.
Oh, yes.
I
need
think
it.
we get a Sepp
I need
Straka
it.
first time major championship.
I need it. I need it like water.
He's playing
Unbelievable.
so good.
He's playing good. He really
He's
is.
beating some big names.
Yeah.
This is obviously
He's
the
at-
biggest moment he'd ever play in, but
Plus 4,500. We'll be rooting for him. He tees off at 1:25 p.m. He's playing with, let's see, I think they're doing back nine starts as well, I want to say.
yeah, they probably will.
So he's starting on the back nine. Tyrrell Hatton is in his group.
Nice.
Yeah. Sung Jae
Tyrrell.
Im is also in his group.
Ooh, that's a fun
That's
group.
not a bad group.
That's very good. I wanted to bring one more thing up. Oh, yes. Did you see that a dentist and a high school junior qualified for the U.S. Open?
Yeah, unbelievable. Well, the dentist is from Indianapolis, Matthew Vogt. He's a Butler
Yeah,
grad.
that's right.
Yep.
He shot 68 at Wine Valley, the
Yeah.
longest day of golf. And then Mason Howell,
This was
17-year-old.
insane. I don't know how he missed this.
Yeah. Brookwood High School in Thomasville, Georgia, shot a pair of 63s in the final qualifying to punch his
Unbelievable.
ticket. He's committed to play for, guess who? The University of Georgia. As a Georgia kid, that's not
Yeah.
too surprising. He has won his state high school tournament 4 of the last 5 years.
Jeez.
So that means that he was on the state high school team as a middle schooler.
Huh. Interesting.
Unless they just meant like, oh, his school has won state 4 out of the last 5 times.
Yeah, not sure.
But-
I wouldn't even doubt the other side though.
No, me neither.
Let's see who he's playing with. He is playing with Joachim Lagergren from, I definitely butchered that, a Swedish guy. And he's playing with Chris Gotterup. So not big name guys, but qualifiers. So.
But yeah, and speaking of young kids playing with big names, Luke Clanton played with Rory McIlroy the first 2 days at the RBC. And he was asked a lot of questions before the round. I think he went to media before, and you could just tell he was like so happy. Like,
oh yeah,
he was already, and they asked him a lot, and he was of questions. They were like, "Did you sleep a lot last night?" And he was like, "No, I'm playing with Rory McIlroy."
No, I wouldn't either.
So that's very cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
He
All
didn't
right,
qualify
another.
for this, unfortunately.
No, yeah,
but
it's a tough one to do. Yeah,
another episode in the books. We didn't get the PGA preview, so I'm glad we could get the U.S. Open preview. I'm going to post this right away so that everyone has something to listen to. But,
of course,
Andrew, always a pleasure, sir.
Always. Yep.
Now that I got Wi-Fi, we should be on a consistent schedule.
Love it.
So, we should be good from now on, but we'll keep you guys updated if that is not the case. But it's been another episode of The Cut Line. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As per usual, I'm Graham Nash.
And I'm Andrew Hillsman.
We'll see you next week.